I want to do this video because I was thinking about something the other day, and that is how wild it is that in research there is so little space and time for curiosity. And this is quite weird because curiosity should be sort of at the heart of why we are doing research. Like, we are asking ourselves why something happens and how something happens, and we are trying to investigate some of the mechanisms that give rise to that specific phenomena. And during my PhD, I think that I was always waiting for the moment to think. The funny thing is that that moment never came. And it didn't come for quite a logic and realistic reason. And the reason is because I was so swamped by the things that I had to do, by the deadlines, by the drafts, by answering to collaborators, by making sure that everyone else doesn't get the feeling how behind I am with everything. And yet it took a toll on my research, on my ability to research, on my ability to think about what are the next steps that I want to do, to my time and mental space of, okay, this is what is our next step, this is what we are going to do next, this is how we are going to write this draft, this is how we are going to design this figure, and so on. And I feel that no one is actually talking about that when they mention how hard it is to do a PhD, because they all talk about those logistic things, like there are many things to do, you are always busy. Yeah, but why are you always busy? You are always busy because you're always doing stuff, like basically everything but thinking about your research, because there are all of those deadlines that squeeze you into this cookie cutter, I would say, and you have to make all of the efforts to fit into that shape and size, and otherwise you are not a good researcher, you are not good enough, you're not going to get your proposal approved, and so on. So when I started thinking a little bit about that, and when I started helping people overcome this feeling and this sense of complete despair and chaos and mess with their research, I realized that it has much less to do with time, and it has much more to do with how we approach our thinking process and how we structure things. Because if you ask me, and I was actually implementing that in the last two years of my PhD, how am I going to structure my lists? How am I going to structure my research so that I have enough time and space, and mental space, most importantly, to retain and get new ideas? So if you are feeling stuck, if your supervisor is non-existent, if your supervisor basically abandoned you and said, okay, it's your problem, they don't answer emails, which I had clients with these situations. If you are so lost, if you think that you do not know where to even start from, if you feel that everything is urgent and should have been done yesterday, and that to-do list that you have is never ending, so you want to rest, but you're too tired to rest, so you procrastinate, but you feel guilty about not working, and when you work, you feel like it's not good enough. I mean, you know that vicious cycle. We have all been there. If this is you nowadays, I want to invite you to schedule a completely free intro coaching call with me. I will leave a link down below in the description where we can talk exactly about that, about finding ways of making sure that your research has clarity, that your next step isn't something you are left wondering like what it should be, that you are not improvising that much, but that you are rather having a plan that you can follow and, most importantly, execute and enjoy. Doesn't lead you to burnout, and doesn't take all of your mental energy and drain all your energy for life at the moment. So if this is you, as I said, I want to invite you to join a completely free coaching call. And the main message I wanted to transmit is that there is help. It doesn't have to be that way. When you're stuck with your writing, chances are you're not stuck with your writing. You're stuck with your thinking and making sure that all of the things that you did don't look like a mess. When you're stuck with your research, clarity lives in structure. Clarity lives in analyzing what you already did, in finding that be inspired for the next step from your previous steps and all the things that you already did. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you found it useful, and as always, see you in the next few days with another video. Bye bye.